Good Saturday morning, everyone. Please like this video, share it with your friends and family. Also, leave a comment where you're from. Also, subscribe. It is free on YouTube. And then click all on notifications, and you'll be notified every time we go live. We have a lot of stuff to talk about over in the subscriber or supporter hub on Facebook or the member hub on YouTube. We are going to give away more NOAA weather radios today. Plus, we're going to do a super long range content as well. We're going to look into next few weeks in May as well. Rest of April into May, should I say. And then, because the next 2 to 3 weeks could be very unsettled and cool across the area before we start climbing out and heading towards more spring type weather across the area. Now, today there's going to be slight risk of severe weather down here from basically southeast Pennsylvania along the Atlantic coast here, mid-Atlantic coast, from Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. This is for today. And another pocket down here towards Texas, as this cold front's kind of just stalled out down through here as well. So another wave of energy is coming up. Slight risk down here in Texas, marginal risk on the outside of that. So in summary, severe thunderstorms is possible today over parts of the Carolinas into the mid-Atlantic region, and this afternoon and evening across portions of South Texas. So we're looking at basically tornado threat's really low, but it's not zero. So keep that in mind. Wind threat is a little bit more elevated across the Carolinas here along the coast. So straight line winds of 60, maybe 70 miles an hour is possible. Washington, D.C., down to Virginia Beach, Raleigh, Wilmington, down to Charleston as well. So keep that in mind. Now, here is the hail threat. 15% likelihood within 25-mile radius of any given point of 1 inch or greater hail. Basically like quarter size or a little bit higher than that, maybe up to golf balls in certain spots. Big hail risk, significant hail risk down here in south central Texas. In basically greater probability of 2-inch diameter hail or larger. 2 inches is hen eggs, and if you get higher than that, we're going into basically tennis balls, baseballs, and then golf balls is 1 3/4 inch. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what could fall across south central Texas here later today into this evening. So as of 9:45 on Saturday morning, we have a severe thunderstorm watch out for Maryland, down through Delaware, through Virginia, into parts of North Carolina. A couple tornadoes are possible, scattered hail up to quarter size, and scattered wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour is likely across this area. 17, almost 18 million people are going to be affected under this severe thunderstorm watch, and this goes until 6 o'clock Eastern time today, which is Saturday. Now, as we go into Sunday, you have there's severe weather risk down here in southern Texas. Basically Corpus Christi, Laredo, Brownsville, Harlington, up to Mission, Texas as well. Slight risk down here, marginal risk up here towards San Antonio, Victoria, Del Rio, some of the areas there for severe weather for tomorrow. The main risks for tomorrow will be straight line winds, 60, 70 miles an hour, hail, probably up to golf balls, and then there's an outside chance of a tornado or maybe two tomorrow across southern parts of Texas. Alrighty, we are undergoing a major pattern change across the eastern half of the United States. We're going to be in a cooler and wetter pattern across the southeast and the south as well. Frost and freeze advisories. These are freeze warnings up here in the dark blue. Got frost advisories all the way down through Kentucky. Been trying to warn you guys probably about a week on this, and a little bit longer over in the supporter hub and the member hub and on Facebook and YouTube. But frost advisories down here, southern Missouri through most of Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana. Freeze warnings up here, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa. These are freeze watches. It's light blue here. Light blue across freeze watches across northern Arkansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma, and back here into the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma. Now, we do have some snow to talk about as well back here in Colorado. There is some higher terrain snows out here, but Denver will get in on the action, I think, this week. And we'll go into that here in just a second. Here's a severe thunderstorm watch across the mid-Atlantic. Like I said, from North Carolina up to Virginia to Maryland, Delaware, and then across the Outer Banks later today. Here is the latest from Climate Prediction Center. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the 27th through the beginning of May. Lots of below average air going on across the central and starting to bleed into the eastern parts of the United States. Got a big sprawling high bumping up down up here into the Pacific Northwest. It's going to create northwest flow, a constant ripples of energy coming through. The south and southeast is going to be very wet across the area as well, plus below average temperatures with continuous from time to time probably frost and freeze concerns, mainly I want to say probably north of I-40 across basically from Texas all the way through Arkansas, through Tennessee, and north of there, especially north of there, for frost and freeze potential off and on probably the next couple weeks at least across the area. All right, this is the national blend of models. Basically, it takes all the models and blends them all together and creates an average here. So basically, here's the lows for tonight, 20s, teens, possible across most of the northern plains here. Freezing to Springfield, Missouri, to right just barely above freezing across northern parts of Oklahoma, in through parts of the panhandles here. Upper 30s, mid to upper 30s across northern Arkansas. Now there is models that are 5 to 7 degrees colder than this across parts of the area. Plus, it has single digits up here into parts of Minnesota as well. I'll show you that here in just a second. But here is the average of all the models. Frost is likely out here to Kentucky, even as well. And we go towards the east. You see the 30s, frost conditions possible. Ohio over towards parts of West Virginia as well. 40s and low 50s all the way down towards the Gulf Coast, even of Florida and Alabama. Now, as you can see, this model is a lot colder across the area. Look at this. You got freezing to just barely above across northern parts of Arkansas, below freezing up here in Missouri, up through Iowa. Then you get up here towards that deeper snowpack up here in Minnesota. Single digits is possible up this way as well. So let's go to the east here. A lot of frost. Look at it. I mean, this has temperatures below freezing up here in northern parts of Kentucky. Even frost to freeze is possible up here in the mountains of West Virginia as well. Right around 32 to 33 across Ohio into Indiana, into Illinois as well. So something to keep in mind over tonight, especially have a lot of plants have come out. All the trees have come out in a lot of areas, especially south of I-70-ish or so. North of there, everything's starting to come out. So if you have tender vegetation, you need to protect it tonight. Make sure you protect your pipes as well. Make sure your pets are inside if possible. So that is what's to come for tonight. Now, as you can see, we have like the systems going out through Pennsylvania. This is why we're gonna have severe weather along the Mid-Atlantic coast today. We do have some snow in Colorado today as well. Now, this is just for the next week. Here's this next impulse coming through the southern parts of Texas as we go in through tomorrow, and that's going to spawn some severe weather across far southern parts of Texas, snow across the Great Lakes. And then it kind of quiets down for a little bit, cooler than average. And here comes the next storm system Tuesday. A lot of wet weather coming for some Oklahoma, Kansas, parts of northern Texas here, Arkansas, Missouri. We're going to go over all the rainfall totals here as well. So a lot of drought is going on down here in western Texas, western Oklahoma, and Kansas. So some welcome rain is coming over this next week. And then look at this. We got snow on the front range of Colorado as we go in through parts of Wednesday morning into the day Wednesday, and then more rainy conditions as we go throughout Thursday across most of the south here. And then here comes this next system coming down, bringing more cold air, dragging more cold air with it as we go into next weekend with spotty rain or snow showers north and South Dakota, maybe Nebraska up here towards Wisconsin, Minnesota as well. Just unseasonably cold for this time of year. And we're going to be stuck in this pattern probably for the next couple weeks. So keep that in mind. We're going to have off and on periods of frost and freeze likely across most of the area. Like I said, I-40, north of I-40 has the greatest risk of frost and freezes over the next couple of weeks. All right, here is temperature anomalies. All this is below average. You get into the greens here. Here's basically a legend down here. You get in the greens here, the lighter greens, it's 10 to 15 below average. You get to the whites, the purples, it's 15 to 20 below average. And then once you get even the darker blues and then to Barney, I call it Barney colors here, that's 25 to 30 below average across that spectrum. So here we go. Look at this. We got the dark blues are 20 below average. We have 30 to 35 below average up in this general area. And then look at Texas here. We're talking 30 below average possible as we head towards Sunday next week. Yep. Nope, this is tomorrow. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is tomorrow. So way below average across this area, and you can see the pattern that continues as we go throughout the next week. And then, like I said, the eastern half of the eastern, basically from the continental divide east, is going to be below average for the next couple weeks here before we start climbing out as we get into probably the second week of May. We'll finally climb out of it. As we head into like almost mid-May now, we'll finally climb out of that below average air. Another trough will set up out into the west, and then a big bubble of high pressure will set up as we get into probably the middle of May. So that's something to look forward to. But the next couple weeks, like I said, frost and freeze, off and on frost and freeze potential is highly likely, especially north of I-40, across basically from Texas all the way to Tennessee, possibly into the over towards Appalachian Mountains and north. So protect that vegetation over the next couple weeks. You'll get those advisories, frost advisories, freeze warnings and stuff. You need to heed those and make sure you keep your pipes covered probably for at least the next couple weeks as we have these below freezing conditions across parts of the area. All right, I'm going to wrap this up real quick. Like I said, we're going to have more giveaways today on the Subscriber Hub on Facebook, the Members Only page on YouTube as well. You can, if you want to support the work we do for you all, you can click that join button on YouTube. There's several different options of supporting us. Also on Facebook, you can go support us on Facebook as well. Facebook, it's $4.99 a month, cheaper than some of your Starbucks coffee, and in some parts of the country, it's cheaper than basically a carton of eggs out there. So if you want to support the work we do for you all, you could do. That's a couple ways you can do it. Also, we're going to give away some more NOAA weather radios today across over in the subscriber hub or supporter hub on Facebook and the members only area on YouTube. Okay, so thank you all for watching. This is basically sums this up right here. We've got freeze warnings out here, basically from Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, over to Nebraska. Frost advisories all the way through Kentucky, and freeze watches out for northern Arkansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and parts of Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. And here's that severe thunderstorm watch. It goes till 6 o'clock today, which is Saturday. Stay safe out there, and make sure you protect your plants and your pipes and your pets out there if you are going to be with this cold shot coming in this weekend. And then off and on periods of frost and freeze conditions is likely over the next couple weeks over parts of the area.